Hi, Lisa Schermerhorn here, and I am with a very, very special guest. Her name is Cara Currey, and my dear friend Barry Fisher saw her YouTube interview and said to me, "You must see this interview." And I watched her and I had my jaw on the ground just listening to her. And I thought, my God, I'm going to try and reach her. You never know. Some people are open and other people are not. And you got back to me right away. And I was so grateful to that. So Kara, we were just talking about this, she really exemplifies what the next level of the human being looks like. Her DNA is whole and she remembers everything. And she's going to talk to you about that. She was basically born without a veil. So she remembers all of her past lives. She remembers when she was born. You've had what, four near-death experiences, and I'm going to let you expand on that. But I know that you're going to find her story fascinating. So welcome, Kara.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm
Oh, of
excited to be
course.
here.
Thank you. Thank you. So, one of the first things that comes to mind, when thinking about it, you is that you talk about coming in and you remember being born.
I do. Yeah, I don't yeah, I remember exactly what it was like being born. It's not what most people um would think. Like it is a massive shift in your consciousness, one that you don't easily forget once it starts time to remember again. And it's really substantial, the light, because you're coming from a place where the light is coherent. And when you get out of the other human body and your senses awaken, it's painful physically. And you haven't met pain, physical pain, for quite some time. It's just part of your, I don't know, your patterning, not something you actually feel the density of. Um, the other thing, so pain is there, but discomfort is there with the environment, with the light. The depth perception is something that is stunning.
Really?
Yeah. So your filters that you have been operating through, if you could think about it like, it's a good example. Not, a telescope might be a good example.
Yeah.
Like if you ended up just looking through the eye of the telescope and you were immediately in that space, yeah, like you can see it up close just by looking through that hole. That's what being born is like. A filter is removed and another one is on top of it. And there is a moment where you are both and you are realizing now you are in this new space. And that's kind of what the baby's experience is as they start to adjust to the environment. It's a bit maddening because you're off kilter the whole time, meaning like you're kind of living in both worlds still. The body isn't anchored enough with Earth for the baby to actually have full awareness of it as a physical body. That's why it needs the mother so, so, so much.
Wow. So this is fascinating to me because I have a 4-month-old, almost 5-month-old granddaughter.
Mm.
And I think
Okay.
about what she has from awareness at a soul level versus not fully being able to see yet. She's still, her dexterity, trying to taste food, all of these things. So at a soul level, when you're born, do you have awareness like you have awareness now, but you can't
Yeah.
connect? What? You do.
Hmm. You
So
do. Yeah.
you have that full
Uh,
awareness.
yes, you're full. Well, it's dissipating. It's changing filters. So you're agreeing to move from your senses that you've been operating through,
Yeah.
yeah, as a light body into biology. But here's the kicker. You think that you are still the light when you are the biology until you get to a point. And here's the problem is Earth has had this major gap in the fifth and sixth octave.
Mm.
I talk about them like music. You could think about it like densities. They're vibrational
Yeah,
fields.
yeah,
Yeah. And it's had this massive distortion for so long that what happens is the baby is born, it's toggling between its light body and its biology. And there's this gap where it doesn't have all that it needs to come into this whole piece of it. All the DNA
wow.
is not activating like it's supposed to. Now, most people understand this as they incarnate and they're trying very hard
Right.
to anchor in their higher aspect and move it through this cosmic net that's been broken. But no, it's been this way it's been this way since Lemuria.
So when a child goes through the developmental process, at what point do they then forget? Because you see, like I've seen young children and babies, they'll have invisible friends, they'll start
Yeah,
talking, so they're still working within the veil.
yeah,
So
that's
they're
right.
still in both places.
Yeah, it depends. The answer to that is depending on your energy body and how it's structured. There's a lot of people that incarnated that are, you could call them aliens. They have they have different structure. They work through a whole different pattern. Their light body, their pattern inside their light body looks like a Chinese star that you see that they throw in
Oh yeah,
movies.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, where somebody that's had a lot of earth
Right,
incarnations looks
right.
a little more like a sphere. Totally
Okay.
different patterning, okay?
So
So,
Earth incarnation looks like a star? No, that's
no,
the
opposite.
alien. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Opposite. They're bringing in other universal structures to our earth.
Universal
They
structure.
look
Yeah.
more like a star.
They look like a star. Yeah.
Yeah. They've got plenty of weird things going on. But
So you can
the
see them.
child
Yeah.
about six
About
or
six.
seven really starts to adhere to the space, and the
Yeah.
forgetting
Yeah.
starts to occur
Okay.
depending on their pattern.
So when you see people, because you see my face, but you also see my complete energy body, right?
Yeah,
So
uh-huh.
you see. So you can tell if someone is an earthbound species or an extraterrestrial species that has come in.
Yeah, everything talks.
Everything
Yeah,
talks.
uh-huh.
So you see, so for you, it becomes common, like you'll walk around and you'll see like different species and different,
Okay, well, here's another really odd thing about me that's different than a lot.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I see things all the way back to their essence. So it's pattern and sound. So all the octaves are alive. So I
Okay.
see you as a human being. I also will see you, like for you as an example, I may see you as your soul who is communicating with me at this very moment.
Right.
So I'm communicating with you as a person. But then we're going to go backwards a little bit more because then the soul will show me its essence. Then it will introduce me to its soul family. And then it will just all the way loop back. That's the really only way I know how to communicate.
So I don't even know. I mean, my brain is like has a million questions here. So this happens with every person you meet. Like, does that get overwhelming, that kind of information, the
Uh,
downloads?
no, it gets maddening. So as a kid, I was like, as a kid, I was really, really struggling because it was the personality that would be the hardest for me because
Yeah.
that's where the noise is at. That's where dissonance is.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be able to toggle the space. But, I'm almost 50, so I've learned how to do it.
Yeah. No, it's taken, but so I have a friend who talks about how she encountered some light beings and was struck by light, not lightning. And she went into a space where suddenly she could see through the veil.
Mm.
And
Hmm.
she ended up getting committed to a mental institution because
Yeah,
she
that's
couldn't
common.
navigate. and she couldn't determine if the beings in front of her were physical on this side of the veil or on the other
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
And what happened was she was in this institution and she saw all of these beings who were in the mental institution had attachments. So she was sending all these attachments off. And slowly all of the people were getting released from the hospital and she was the only one left. Because
Oh, that's cool.
she was releasing
Yeah.
all of these
Yeah.
souls.
Yeah.
So she had to convince them to let her go because she was the one who was getting all these.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it took her, I mean, that was in a split instant. You were born into this, but as a young
Yeah.
child, you
Yeah.
had to navigate all of that
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
no one else. So how did your parents handle that?
Not well.
Yeah. There's no book for that, right?
Mm-mm.
And
Well, okay, so they took me to, obviously they took me to the physician
yeah,
because that's what you would do, right?
right,
And in that day and age, they said she's highly autistic. We just have come up with this definition. This is
right.
what it is. No idea how to fix this. They still don't know how to fix it. But yeah, that was what they said. She needs, she needs special education. She is going to be held back. And I couldn't read. That was really, really hard. I would open the book from the back because that's the only way I understood how to understand what I was going to consume through reading. And I couldn't follow it line by line, no matter what I did. My finger, the piece of paper, nothing. So I started reading backwards, and I could understand it if I went from the back up. How wild is that?
So wild. That's
I
so wild.
finally balanced and was able to start the book from the beginning to the back, but I had to teach myself. There was no teaching.
Well, I think about the fact that if time is truly not linear,
Yeah, oh, you're
right?
getting into
And
good stuff. This
I
is my
know,
favorite.
yeah. So you're living in a world that is linear, the density is linear, but you are not linear.
No,
So
no,
it didn't matter if you went to the back or the front or the middle because it was all happening simultaneously.
that's right. I had to find the middle.
Yeah,
I always have to find the middle. So, like for my life now, um, the information comes to me in about a 2 year advance. And it has taken me a lot of work to figure out how to calculate the 2 years down to what is now 2 days. So I'm finding my middle, but the information would come 2 years in advance. I would write it down so that I could start to measure my time so I could understand what is happening in my life so I could plan. That's how I operate.
so
I
when
don't
you,
plan anything.
yeah, but when you say you get information, so something comes in and it says, okay, in 2 years, this is going to happen to you, or is this world information, or what is it that comes in?
Um, Usually it would be something like this. A soul will just show up and I'll see the soul in front of me as the human being I'm going to meet. And I'll draw that human being and then I'll have a full dialogue. Like, for example, my very good friend Shakti is his name. He came to me years ago and he showed me what he looks like. He showed me his past lives. He showed me what we're going to do together and where those locations are that he needs me to activate. I drew it all. I met him, I don't know, 7 months ago at another meeting and I was like, hey, I drew you, look. And he's like, holy crap, that's me totally.
Wow. But you have a lot of friends who are nonverbal, correct? And they're in the spectrum, Noah being one of them.
Yeah.
And it so fascinates me because how misunderstood people on the
Uh,
spectrum are. And just because someone is nonverbal doesn't mean that they're not brilliant, correct?
yeah, most of them are energy bodies that have agreed not to forget. In order for you to not forget, you need to be able to move through a major gap. the gap
Right.
I was talking about. So they have this disconnect between their brain and their body. So do I.
Yeah.
Um, Sometimes they would call them seizures for me. It would just be a period of time where my soul would leave the body and there would be a body operating without anything. So I could get stuck at my door back there for an hour and not be able to move.
Because
So
the brain doesn't connect, or the soul doesn't connect with the body. So it's almost like a short circuit.
it's a misfire.
It's a
Yeah.
misfire. Wow.
That's what they titled it. Anyway, the neurologist titled it a misfire. Yeah, it just I've been this way my whole life, but it got worse once my son was born because he's a really high harmonic and he would
Wow.
just I couldn't hold it.
Wow. So I want to go back to, because I know I want to talk about your four near-death experiences.
Okay.
And so because there's a lot leading up to that when you talk about your children. Because two of them happened after the birth of each of them, but your first one happened at 2 years old, and the way you talk about this is fascinating to me. So you almost drowned.
hmm Yeah, I grew up on a lake and I was just out playing and I fell off the dock and it was substantial distance. And I was in the water. My brother was the only one out there and he would have been 5 at the time. Um, and he ran in and got my father. My father came out and pulled me out and I was in there apparently too long to have survived. I don't remember the time. What I remember only is remembering the essence of water. What I haven't shared before is I remembered a contract that I made coming into the body. That contract was to allow water to be re-seen, and the only way to be re-seen is through an octave of a human being.
The
So,
water being re-seen?
yes,
What do you
ma'am,
mean by that?
re-seen.
What does that mean?
You have to remember something at its essence.
Oh,
I remembered myself as water, as essence of water.
okay.
But water is a shape. It's not just a soul. It's also a shape. So the only way to do this is to be a twin to somebody else and to have a witness. There must be a triad. And that's what I found with Noah and Adriana. Noah is my twin, energetically, obviously not physically.
Right, right.
But
So like a twin flame reference, kind
so
of.
a twin flame would be someone that matches a vibration of you. This is actually the same soul
The
expressed
same
into
soul.
two.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So I was remembering at this point of my life, two, baby two, um, what water actually is. It's the expression of the divine into form. It's
So,
the first expression, actually.
yeah. And so when you were under the water, you had your eyes open, right? You did not drown when your father came
No,
to you, right?
no, they were thoroughly confused because I was smiling, breathing. I was fine. The other thing that I remembered was my life in Lemuria. I was the records keeper of that lifetime, and we didn't keep our books on shelves. We kept our cords underwater. And so I embodied every single cord. So my job in this life is to meet as many human beings as I can because I have all of their cords.
Ooh. All right, I get confirmation when it goes up my spine and down my arm, so I'm not twitching. I just got a confirmation of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's a big job. It's a big job.
It's a big
And I
job.
share it. I share it with the water. So as soon as I meet somebody like you,
Yeah.
I will in fact go down to a node at a river, and I'll put my feet in the river, and it'll share it with everyone else because the water permeates everything.
That's So interesting because in the work that I do as a quantum healer, oftentimes I'm just going into trance and I visualize water running through their bodies.
Yeah,
So the
it's super
water is
simple.
going
Light and
through.
water pretty much does it.
Yes. I have an experience where um there was a blockage in his body and I kept pushing and pushing and the water was like struggling. There was all this murky stuff coming out his feet. Finally, the water cleared. The next week when I checked in with him, he said, I don't know if this is relevant, but 2 days after the healing, I woke up vomiting clear water. I hadn't had any water before I gone to bed or in the middle
Sure.
of the night, and he
Hmm.
said I've never had that much water at one sitting, but I could
Interesting.
not stop throwing up clear water. So when you talk about water like that, I'm like, of course, that made total sense that I would be visualizing the water coming through people, healing them.
That's right. And why is because that's the essence before the dissonance.
So, as someone who is not Christian, I was raised Jewish, but you see people getting baptized in the water.
Yes, you're
So,
introducing the meaning to that is you're reintroducing essence.
essence.
Bring the essence back to its origin before it entangled with the environment.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you experienced that near-death experience at two. But you don't, you remember being one with the water. You didn't leave your body and go someplace like the people talk about going to, you were still there, correct?
Well, that's a good question. I've always left my body. People talk about out of body experiences. Um, I can be in body or out of body. It just depends on my intention of the work.
Yeah.
But I've always been that way. That's part of being autistic. We don't identify with the body as like more than the anchor point or the expression at its densest level. It's like the most important piece you can have, honestly.
Yeah.
But being in it all of the time as the attention is just an octave. So, no, I was in and out of the body
Okay.
because I was moving through each octave of myself so that I could anchor in my contract to let water see itself through a human being, an
Wow.
octave.
Wow. So when you talk about octaves, is that also like densities?
Yes, it's
Okay.
just my
All right.
it's how I see things.
Right. Right. No,
Because
I just for people
yeah,
to understand, an octave is also a density. So when you think about the octaves, how high up in the octaves can you travel?
um, I can permeate any octave. I don't have any limitations. I remember going through source so many times. Um, I can bring present moment into somebody's body quickly.
So when you say bring present moment into someone's body, what does that mean?
That means opening every octave from source to their physical body in a quantum tunneling effect.
So is that bringing in all of their lifetimes, like literally, like at once?
No,
No.
no, because there's an organized way to do that. But it means opening them to the quantum field for whatever meant. I can travel through time. It's a vibration.
Right.
But I choose to magnetize it to the person instead of traveling to it. Um, no, I don't know. I don't know any limitation for where I go. At nighttime, it's very frustrating because I travel far too far.
Oh, and
That's
then having to reel you back into your body in the morning.
is uncomfortable.
And
Yeah.
that's and so the actual physical of getting back into this physical form, is that a difficult, arduous task?
That is my task in this incarnation is to bring every piece of me back into the body.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's a challenge. It's hard because every memory is held in density.
Yeah.
That's how it holds. So the body has to work through that.
Yeah.
And that's not always fun.
So that leads to your second near-death experience, right? When you talk about bringing these parts back.
everyone actually. Um, Everyone has been about bringing pieces back.
Right.
The Yeah, I want to just diverge for just a minute how I see near death, if I can. I'm
Sure.
going to speak about this at IANS because I really feel like it's strongly misunderstood. So many people come to me and say, um, I haven't had any kind of a death experience, but I feel so strongly that this like spiritual experience shifted my reality.
Mm.
And I just try to express to people what a near death really is you traveling outside of your perspective of this space to another
Right.
incarnation of you so you can bring back to you that vibration. And depending on the distance is depending on the density of the experience. So if we use pain as an example,
Right.
if you're going to go get a vibration that's really moving quickly, fast, very fast, say it's, I don't know, an infrared would be an example of a very fast moving vibration, yeah?
Yeah.
So, say your incarnation is in a realm where the vibrations are moving that fast. How would you bring that to yourself other than a very dense vibration of the same thing that can bring the two together and anchor it? Yeah.
Right. So
So,
how do you do that?
well, that's where people say I've had a near death, but I'm saying, well, really what's happening is physics. Really
Okay.
what's happening is you have two opposing vibrations and you have to use the dense one in order to invoke the higher one to meet you at your physical body. And bam!
Bam. Yeah.
Ouch!
Wow.
Usually, but I wanted to explain that because as I tell these stories so often, I'm like, well, I death is a vibration. Like I can even go through that vibration. To me, this is an octave. So
Right.
all I'm doing really is going back to get things and bring them back for myself. So,
Okay.
um,
So you said you've been to Source many times.
yes.
So curious, what is Source like?
Um, it's the sound of the totality
Mm-hmm.
of all of us being every single expression,
Right.
planets, trees, space, air. I'm just using terms that we human beings can
Right.
say yes to,
So
right?
when you say the sound, okay, so it's vibrating at a certain frequency, and you have beings that are very, very high density, and then you have the lower density beings. So the term we are all one is really
Yes,
we really are all one.
yes.
So is the tone in resonance because you have darker, lower and very high frequency? Does it create like a harmony, or is there a dissonance? What does that sound like?
That's such an awesome question. This is what I love talking about. Um, there is a point where everything makes one sound. Otherwise, it makes a variety of sounds. So you could think about the logos, for example,
Hmm.
is the host of the totality of all of it.
Hmm.
But there is also just one single point, which is also her in her totality as one sound. It depends where your consciousness is at in that. So you too cannot not be the totality of all of it either if you go to your heart, because the heart is actually the rhythm of your higher being and your lower being. It's what makes your heart beat. No, the doctors and scientists will say no, 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 but the energy body says yes, yes, yes.
So your heart is beating from your higher self and your shadow.
Yes,
Ah! You're blowing my
yes,
mind here.
yes. That's the naked consciousness. It is
That's
clear. It's light. It's light and data mixed together. It's all of the colors of the flower of life, yeah,
yeah,
with the data and the
yeah,
below, because it's the lower vibrations
yeah.
and the light of the higher vibrations all mixed into one. That's the same sound that everything makes in its totality. And then you remember yourself as the all.
So do you hear this sound all the time?
Yeah, it's
So
gorgeous.
that That's so cool. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, I love talking to you. So, not a conversation I can have with many people. So, and that must be interesting for you because you have a community that you've started to attract. And so you have these people who are considered autistic on the spectrum,
Mm-hmm.
people who are nonverbal, who are so far advanced than our everyday human beings, trying to a society that's trying to make you fit in something that you don't fit into.
I don't fit anywhere, and I'm
No,
fine with that.
yeah,
That's not a problem.
yeah,
But I didn't really understand who I was until I met Noah. So my own reflection
yeah.
was there. It was very confusing because I couldn't see myself. Um, I just knew myself as everything I put my attention on.
Mm,
So once I had a mirror, I was able to look at me
right,
and say, okay, this is okay. I might just be able to feel every single thing, but look, I actually talk, communicate non-verbally with just about all of them, um, and feel everything. So that means I'm feeling, that means I exist, right?
right.
So the I am sees itself as the third. That's it.
Wow. So when you saw him for the first time, when he came into your being, because for people, I got a chance to see him on a call. You do the Sunday groups with you do your meditation. He's a very beautiful, kind soul. He's a man, and he sits there, and his mother was sitting next to him, helping him communicate, so
Yes.
and translating. So, what was that like to see your mirror image in another being that looks nothing like you, is nonverbal, has a very different life, that the two of you came together? What was that like?
um, Confusing. At first, it was very confusing because I went from feeling like um, I could not identify with anything to being able to identify to something for the very first time in my life. And that was a long time coming. But there was much more to it than what we're talking about because I had talked to Noah, who Noah's a man, but he's a soul
Hmm.
also. So this soul I've always talked to because it's me
Right,
at my loudest octave, meaning like it's the totality of me as something in such a way that I played all day, every day with this soul. Like it's a conversation, not just thought, but I would play like dialogue, like, hey, you want to go for a bike ride? And he would say things that couldn't come to my mind, like, oh well, there's a dog over there that is right around the corner, you better watch out. He still does this for me. He still tells me, oh, watch out for that, and then it'll be right there. But um to me, who I had talked to my whole life was astounding as a man.
Yes.
Like that was really flooring to me because I had talked to beings my whole life. Never did I ever have an idea that they might be in a human body. It blew me away.
So you were having conversations with him almost like as a young child in that invisible, the invisible person, but you were actually already connected to him, having conversations, not realizing that he was an
Yeah.
actual physical biological human being.
Well, first of all, nothing's invisible to me. That's the
That's
problem. I
that's
have to
true.
ask people, do you see this? Because to me, it's not invisible. So yeah, so I saw him as light, as a light being,
Right.
always. But there came a point where, after one of my near deaths, where his tone changed, and I realized, hey, you talk like a dude. Like you're saying stuff to me like guys say. Are you in a body? Like, if you're in a body, find me, because they all find me. I mean,
Wow.
every one of the non-speakers have found me. I have not ever reached out to any of them. They come in my dream space. Um, and he did. He found me. Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's so cool. Does he live near you?
no, no, they're in Illinois, and I'm in Washington State.
That's insane. So how did he find you?
Um, it's a story, but I can tell it.
Well,
They're
if you
all
have,
stories.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if you feel that it's important for people to know that. I just
It's a
was,
fun story. I'll tell it.
okay.
It's a quick one.
Yeah.
Um, I do these sessions for people where I help them upgrade their DNA because I can hear all the dissonance. So I rip the dissonance out and then I bring their memories to them and their DNA does this shifting thing. Okay. So I don't usually do them in person, but there was a woman close by and I really, really wanted to work with her. So I drove to her house and knocked on her door. She didn't come for a while. And the night before, I did this session with this woman, a soul had come to me. And this is common, not uncommon. The lady was lost and she was crossing over. And
Mm,
I said to her, like, this is what happens. This is where you're going. I helped her with her review.
hmm.
And then she came out and she was holding a dog. And they do really weird stuff all the time. Souls are always doing this stuff I don't
So
understand.
this was when she passed, like you helped her pass.
She had passed. Yeah, I helped
Okay.
her cross over and
Right.
get to her review spot. So this is common for people to be lost. They look for guides. So I guided her. When she was done with her review, she came out with the dog. That's what I didn't understand. And she's holding this dog and she have a little frog here. She's holding the dog and she's like, "This is Cookie. Look at Cookie. Doesn't it look like a cookie?" Showing me every single piece of this dog. And I was like, all right, just, I want to go to sleep. You're done. Go away, right? Um, anyway, the next day I knocked on the door, nobody came, and a dog barked once and stopped barking. The lady comes to the door and says, "I'm so sorry. I made you stand here. That dog is my doorbell, and I didn't hear it bark." Opens the door. This is Cookie. Doesn't it look like a cookie? So I'm like, okay. So I'm following a trail, right?
Right.
So I do the session, and at the end of the session, she says, "Well, you know what you did, don't you?" And I said, "Yeah, I helped you with your DNA." And she goes, "No, you read every single thought I was having." And I was like, I'm sorry. Like, what do you say? Like, I know I
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
the
yeah.
thoughts. And she goes, "Well, have you heard of the telepathy tapes?" And I'm like,
Okay.
"No, because I don't listen or watch anything." Um, so I did listen, and they were in episode 10, and I heard just the name, and my entire chakra system lit up like a light bulb. And I was like, "Oh, that's you." And he's like, "Yes, that's me. Come get me."
So
And
for
I
people to
found him.
understand what the telepathy tapes are, can you
Yeah.
explain so that people know?
Yeah, if anyone hasn't listened to it, I really recommend it because it's eye-opening for people to see that there is actual communication that can occur. It does occur, that isn't verbal. It's no different than like you think of a friend and then all of a sudden they text you and you say, "Oh, that's a coinky dink." Not really.
Yeah.
There's actually a massive superhighway of information that sits just above our water. And it's the EMF field. And in that, there is thought. It's the same vibrational space. So if you want to communicate through the finer vibrations, you can communicate without words and you can communicate with thought. So telepathy tapes is all about many autistic individuals or people that are aware of what I'm talking about and know how to use it. And they demonstrate the use of it, basically.
Fascinating. Fascinating. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get into your second near-death experience because that's fascinating to me.
Yeah, that was a doozy.
That was a doozy.
Uh, that was a doozy. That was 1987, and that was August. It was the harmonic convergence.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be the return to all of our memories. It was supposed to be something that did not happen. Um, so in Lemuria, there was a massive harmonic convergence, and we understood that we would have to wait until another one would come our way
Mm.
for us to be able to recalibrate to our life at that time, bring all of our memories back. Well, what happened was there's a point at which one sound, one human being holds the one logo sound. And what happened was the collective shadow completely overpowered that 10-year-old human being. And when I returned from the experience I went through as a child, which doesn't really matter physically what happened, it matters what the reason was behind it. Um, I completely forgot who I was and why I was there. I had complete amnesia. So it took me quite a while to bring back why I was here, and then it took me a hell of a lot longer to go get all those memories back. Um, but that experience was like people describe, but you go over your body, and there's a disconnect between you, your consciousness, and seeing your physical body, almost to the point where you don't know if it's you or not.
Right.
And then from there, you typically have options of travel. This is where people get lost. Um, and for me, I went into a black hole, and that black hole descended. It went down to, I was really magnetized to the black hole. I didn't have much of a choice. It went to a different world that I knew of. It was a part of my consciousness, but it was a very dark place. And all of our experiences are stories that are expressed down through vibrational levels. So they become physical, tangible.
Right.
Yeah, so this expression was met by the collective because I have many expressions. And so all they had to do was match me and they could meet me there, which is what happened. So, um, yeah, I felt every one of them and basically felt the um, abandonment was really the worst expression I felt. It was the abandonment of the ultimate mother. Um,
How painful.
yeah, and it is the collective seed.
Hmm.
It is where we have, if we go layer after layer after layer to our own pain, it's actually down there in the forgetting and the abandonment of the mother, the one that actually is us also.
So I just want to backtrack a little bit. You talk about the harmonic conversions that was supposed to take place in 87, where we were supposed to actually retrieve all our memories. So
Yeah.
something happened that there was a 10-year-old that embodied all that. Is that being still around?
Well, that it was me,
Okay. Okay.
but the returning back to the body wasn't full. So what happened was all those beings were expressions of me as the collective
Okay.
consciousness, and they held that density, and they took those cords
Yeah.
as far away from my human 10-year-old as possible and use them in ways I would never want my cords back. So my life has been hard because I have been pulling each one of those cords back to me
One at a
and
time.
I have had a lot of shadow to overcome, even though most of it's not mine. It's mine and it's peace, but much of it isn't. Much of it's collective.
So are you talking thousands, millions, like that you're having to retrieve?
Well, my friends that are non-speaking have all spelled. There's four of them that have spelled I'm over 70,000 years old, but that's not human years. It's
Right.
older than that. So,
Right.
yeah, it's been a lot of work. It's been a
Wow.
lot of work.
So when
But
you
every
say,
time okay,
yeah, no, who is they when you say they took those parts of you
those
from?
are, you could call them shadows. You could call them entities.
Yeah.
You could call them life that has become, by being held away from the light long enough, it's forgotten
Yeah.
what it is and become its own thing.
Right. Okay. So do they interfere in keeping you from retrieving these parts, or have they now left you alone?
They do everything they can to keep me from retrieving my parts.
Still.
Yes,
S-
but I have become aware of myself to such an extent that I'm pretty good at getting my parts.
Well, and so when you get these parts, so in this near-death experience, you're in this black hole and you see all these parts. And there's a story that you talk about, how painful it was. I'd love for you to share that.
Yeah, I have learned a lot about pain. And this is a pain that is really titled unbearable. It was physical, it was emotional, and it was mental, which is the capacity of water. That water moves through these three aspects of itself. And I had to feel every aspect at seven different layers,
Wow.
seven different octaves. And so it's very hard to describe without people being able to experience what I'm talking about. But um, if you could imagine yourself passing out because your physical pain is too much, that's the tolerance I'm talking about. But
Wow.
all of them at the same time and not being able to pass out.
Wow.
That's the best way I can describe it.
No, so then you prayed to leave there, correct?
I did. I asked for the light. I begged. I begged every piece of me that I could find. And a light came down, and I started to rise above it. And then I realized those were my own shadow also. And I didn't want to abandon myself. So then I said, wait, please, can we please bring them with us? Please. And the answer was, I will show you. And then I went through every octave to understand what was created in that space. By the time I got to who I was talking to, which you would consider, I don't know, God, I guess, the sound of everything,
Hmm.
the one that makes the decisions as a one, um, I was pissed beyond belief.
Wow.
Now you have to remember, this is something I've talked to my whole life as a child. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like, ooh, it wasn't like, yeah, I'm going to behave or I don't, none of that. It was, what? How could you have this discrepancy? How? Like you have all of these different layers. Like, how could this have happened? You need to fix this, is what I said. You need to fix this. And what I got was a finger back and said, excellent, I'll send you back and you fix it. And I was back in that body.
Wow. Wow.
Boy, that hurt.
Wow.
It really hurt.
So what happened that created that near-death experience, that second one?
Um, I don't talk about that one, but we'll just say it's play that went really wrong.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
kids
Okay.
kids not meaning to do anything that just did.
Yeah.
And I lost all air. There was no air
Wow.
left.
Wow.
Yeah. So
So then you had two more near-death experiences, one with each of the birth of
yeah,
your children. You must have been
yeah,
terrified to have any more children. How did we have to
yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah.
They tied my tubes at my last one. They're like, you won't survive another
Smart.
morning. We got we gotta stop this. Yeah, let's see. I went when I went through school. I fell in love with my high school sweetheart,
Mm,
and went right into real estate afterwards because school was hard,
yeah.
really hard. Like if you were to ask me what the hardest thing to do in life was, it would be to follow a rigorous schedule like they do. You know that
Yeah.
structure at school was torture. So school was not for me. Didn't work. So I went into something I could do, and I went into real estate. I did it for like 30 years. Um, and loved it. But I got pregnant, I don't know, I think it was like 35 and had a great pregnancy. Delivery was challenging, but not abnormal. But it was a C-section, and I contracted a bacteria and got septic. And it was something I got on the surgery table because they couldn't kill it.
Wow.
So none of the antibiotics were working. So I eventually ended up in the ICU. And it was a conversation with my husband that was, she's just not going to make it. We don't know how to kill this thing. Um, and so I spent a week in there, really just not knowing if I was alive or dead. There was no way for me to know. I didn't eat any, like, there wasn't awareness. There wasn't even awareness of people coming and going in the room. I was so hot that it stripped my clothes off, no blankets, just terrible.
Wow.
Um, and when I pulled out of that, I had to be on an IV antibiotic for a month. Like it was just really bad.
Wow.
Uh, so for me, that experience was learning to hold death. So now I can move through the vibration of time because on the other side of time is death. You move through time to get to death.
So with each near-death experiences, your octave changed, correct?
That's right.
Yeah.
And children do this too, most of us. They come in with the next octave of you. So your body is magnetized to it. You're forced to hold the next vibratory state of you. It's kind of like a spiral, and your spiral starts to move up,
So it's like a
pushing you up,
so it's like a magnet bringing us up. Otherwise, why would you raise your vibration and frequency, right?
right? Yeah.
So it's kind of mandatory.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
At least it was for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter came in and my stuff changed quick. Like
So
my husband
you're
got in an accident right away also.
so our children are the ones who are holding those higher octaves.
Can
I'm
you say
not.
that again?
So I just want to get clear. I come in with a higher octave for myself, or is it my children come in with a higher octave for me as my teacher?
It's usually the second.
Okay. So that's why our children can be so challenging because they're pushing us. I always say my children were my greatest teachers.
Yeah,
So
that's
what
exactly
happens
right.
when the parent doesn't raise their vibration and frequency, but the child keeps going? Like
They
there's
can,
got to be
well, they
resonance.
can cause dissonance in the child.
Yeah.
That's how it tends to, you start to see children start to have issues. Um, Most common is when the parent doesn't move to the child. It's like a rubber band effect.
Yeah.
Like the child and the parent are doing this the whole time, and the parent's like, why can't I get along with my child? Well, maybe you need to look at yourself, so the child's not holding the rubber band, but you are.
Mm. Fascinating. Wow. Like, I'm gonna walk around in a daze after this interview. It's so much to
Sorry.
process. I
Sorry.
love that. No, 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 it's beautiful. No, I
Okay.
just learned so much from you. So you were able, from a standpoint, were you out of consciousness and leave your body? Like, did they pronounce your body physically dead? Or
No,
were
no,
you,
no.
okay, so you were there, you were just struggling to hang on. You did eventually come back and your resonance, your resonant, you went up an octave. And then after that, you had a fourth near-death experience.
Yeah. Well, the importance of the
Yeah.
sepsis was to bring back my memories. Your
Oh,
memories are held in density.
right.
So I went and retrieved as many as I could. And then I learned how to retrieve others by doing that.
Okay,
Um,
so this was
yeah,
divine.
absolutely.
This yeah,
Everything in my life has been predetermined.
right.
Yeah, except
Wow.
that 10-year-old was not. That
Yeah.
that experience was not. But yeah, and then the fourth one was my son. And he's a high octave boy. He's also autistic. Um, and I got rear-ended by a semi when I was pregnant with him. And it wasn't a bad accident, but it was enough to start labor and too early.
Mm.
And so that experience brought me to meet pain like I hadn't met yet with my brain. So something happened energetically when he was born. It was eclamptic. I was in a seizure,
Wow.
and they didn't stop. The seizures didn't stop, and the left and right hemisphere of my brain, they still don't know what was happening, but the pain in my head was excruciating to the point where I would pass out. And they said, these are just chronic migraines. And they thought for a while it was maybe epilepsy. I did every possible test. I even qualified for special pain clinics.
Yeah.
And at the pain clinics, they would teach you how to meditate. And I don't come from any spiritual background whatsoever. I don't come from any religious background. I don't come from science. I just went into real estate. I just knew I was weird. Okay, that's what I knew. And I was like, I'm just gonna make money and be as normal as I could possibly be. That was my goal in life, was if I can get to normal, I'm doing good. I'm gonna have kids,
So
I'm gonna
yeah.
make money. I can drive a car and be a mom. So
How's that working for you?
yeah, it didn't work. It didn't work. I've been forced to be what I am. There, it is not. I do not strive for this whatsoever.
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, I had to figure out how to heal my body and brain, and I got to the point where I said to God, because I had remembered my 10-year-old experience by now. Um, yeah, like really, you're gonna do this now? Like
Wow.
really? So I said, if I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink. I was watching my kids be raised from my bed. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't drive. They were taking my driver's license away. You're talking about like this is not worth living.
Right.
So I said to God, I'm done. Like I at least have to move to a different octave out of this body. This is not tolerable. So if it doesn't change tomorrow, this is my last night.
Wow.
And I had contemplated this. This wasn't like a spur of the moment choice. When you have kids, you really think about. I knew the
Absolutely.
karma I was going to incur. I understood it. I couldn't take another day.
Yeah.
So I made that claim. That night there was visitors, um, and I was so tired and so irritated. I did what I usually do when I get visitors at night, which I do. Said, just go away. Like I just want to sleep. But there was two ships above my room, and that next morning I did go back to sleep. The next morning I woke up and I felt completely different.
Wow.
And I had a cup of coffee and I was so grateful to have that coffee. Something came over me where every filter that was left was gone. I could
Wow.
see every layer of reality. Um, and the plants were pink and purple. The people were just energy. I could hear everything, could hear the center of the earth, the planets, wherever my thought went, I could hear. Um, and then that was tough because there's no way to know what you are in that instance. And so that I didn't sleep for 3 nights. It lasted 3 days and 3 nights. And I told one person what was happening, and she called the police to take my kids away. So the police showed up at my door and said, I'm so sorry, but we think that you need to go to a mental institution.
Oh.
And fortunately, I had so many seizures where I had to be able to talk even outside of my body when I wasn't in it, that I just faked it. And I was like, oh, I'm fine. Here, you can see my children. They were asleep and they left and they were fine.
Wow.
Um, but that was my fourth like real like toggle with death. Like, do I want to be in this body or not? And it was I'm gonna do this if I'm gonna feel a little different.
So were these beings, because I've heard, I have several friends who have had healings from people in ships that show up,
Uh,
generally are Arcturians. Do you know if that's what they are? They're blue?
I didn't ever see them. It was just the
Okay.
ships.
Okay.
No, I, I, I visit the ship that I go on now when I go on the
Okay.
ship.
Yeah.
So I don't know them as Arcturian. I just know them as Soul Family.
Soul family.
Um,
Okay.
like I said, I know people through different expressions of themselves. So I wouldn't.
Right.
I struggle when it's identifying something.
No, I was just curious because I've had a friend who actually had a being show up because her dog was very sick and said, would you like us to heal your dog? And she freaked out.
Got it. Yeah, that might freak you out, right?
Yeah, yeah. She's like, I said, well, call him back. Of course you want to have your dog healed.
Yeah, right?
Once you get over it.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah.
it's interesting because you label yourself as someone who's autistic, and what I see in you is really the next evolution of human beings.
Yeah,
And
I think that's where we're headed. Yeah.
yeah, my understanding is, and from speaking to many other people, is we're moving towards telepathy. We're moving towards all of these things, like, and also that there's children who are being taught, they're blindfolded, and then they put colors in front of them and numbers in front of
Yeah.
them, and they can identify them with their eyes covered. There's a whole new way of being that's showing up. The frequencies and or octave of this planet is rising. Have you
Yes.
noticed, like, do you know, like, the energies right now are pretty wild.
Yeah. We had the new Earth harmonic convergence 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And we shifted to a new octave. And that is it's being built right now. We're building on it every day. This is my here's where we are today, little newscast.
Yeah.
But we took the old Earth and
Yeah.
we took some of the structure of old Earth. We didn't take the whole thing. We took the laws of the universe. So laws would be things that are held in agreement.
Mm-hmm.
So you express from source, yeah, and you go through all of your expressions, your octaves, and you consistently agree when you get to a space. That is held as an agreement. Something in
Okay.
that space is held, yeah. So cause and effect or vibration, what it is, kind of a thing. So that creates geometry. So we took old Earth, and the reason we took old Earth and moved to a new one is because when light projects itself into a sphere, and that sphere is moving, which everything is moving, there is a point where the light hits the sphere, the light begins to retract itself. This is physics, this
Yeah.
isn't woo woo,
Yeah.
and it goes back through. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was occurring, is occurring still. And so what we did was we took the harmonics that make this structure and we brought it all the way down to the one vibration, the 10-year-old vibration. But this time the 10-year-old has the mirror, the other, which
Mm.
creates the wave that's needed for something new to be born. And so we took the length of time and shortened it, made this space bigger so it's not quite so tight. And then we put all the same agreements over here, but before we did that, we fixed the fifth and sixth density over here.
Oh,
So now we have all true coherent colors for the flower of life adhered, and we have a new time continuum. So things are going to move a lot
a lot
faster.
faster. So was that the original Merkaba that you show in that first?
Yeah,
Okay. And so that Merkaba is now, it looks like there's a lot more angles to it. There's so
there is.
much more to it. So
There
what
is.
had to be fixed in the fifth and sixth densities or dimensions in order to move into this next?
Oh, yeah, that's a loaded question. Not that you meant for it to be loaded, but it is loaded. Um, multiple expressions of one single thing. Okay, so one has many stories to it.
Yeah.
So the universe, if you look at this particular plant,
Okay.
yeah, you recognize that?
Yes,
This is
the
what the
dead
universal
dandelion.
structure, yeah,
Yeah.
it's what the universal structure is all about. One expressed into all these different facets.
Right.
And these little stems are the shape of what you could consider a diamond. So you're just looking through one thing through many different ways. So if we're looking at the logos, for example, the logos doesn't identify with time,
Right.
though it is a part of her. but she doesn't necessarily have order. She doesn't say, I'm going to read from the front of the book to the back of the book. She says it's a book because I can hold it. And that's my experience of it. The words in it, I feel, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody tells her what page to go to or if that's in the middle or the back or the front. That's not her essence.
Okay.
So her essence has all of the dandelion in it, yet she doesn't know which one is hers. She doesn't know how to understand if one is past and one is future. It's just all there. And she's a part of each piece of it. So time is a piece of her, but she doesn't understand that it's in a particular spot.
Right.
So when she expressed, there was one expression where she agreed to time before she made it.
Mm.
And it played out in a gazillion different ways.
Okay. So
Okay.
that
And that would be the
distortion,
fifth and sixth density that got
densities.
messed up.
Okay. So now that those are repaired and we've moved
Uh-huh.
into this new density, what happened and what happens to those beings that are still tied to that previous density?
Well, they're actually all getting their memories back. And then they can actually land. So when the fifth and the sixth density were fixed, I have
Hmm.
pictures of light beings all over the sky that I post because my phone is an extension of my senses and actually will show people what I see with my eyes. The light beings are able to land. So you may not see them yet,
Yet.
but your your families that have crossed over, they can actually get close to you now. The light beings can actually land. The alien life that we're all waiting to see is actually going to be able to take a form that you can see. It's been broken for so long. And there's intelligence that understood this and took advantage of it. That's the other piece. They
Yeah.
can't take advantage of it anymore.
So what's interesting is when I first met you, I think I sent you a photo because you had an image on your whiteboard
Oh
of what
yeah.
the soul looks like, and I had taken a photo and it was identical to what your image was because I actually
Yes.
have that ability to take photos
Yes, yes, yes.
at the same, and I was trying to see if I could find it. It was actually in Mexico at
Yeah.
a in a they call it cenote, and I got this
Yeah.
beautiful reflection. But
So
yeah,
that's an example, by the way, of something I've drawn years ago. That cenote I drew. It's and then you gave me the picture and I was like, yes, where is that? Because in my consciousness, those are what we call linear spaces. They're
yes.
nodes. Yeah. So you had one. It was great.
Yeah, I wish I could find it right now, but I can't if I had thought about it beforehand. But I've also seen like I have an image here. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see this like
Yeah.
being
Mm-hmm.
right in the sky? But
Yep.
I didn't see it with my eyes, but when I take
That's
photos, they
right.
show up. And I'm actually
Right.
planning a book with all of those images because they're just so spectacular.
Yeah.
And I've taken photos of portals. I've taken photos of all kinds of amazing things.
Yep.
Wait, I may have found it. Nope. There was a part of it. No, that was just the fit. But anyway, so no, this is so fascinating to me. I am so grateful for this conversation. Um, and I think, there's so much more. As a matter of fact, I want to sign up for a session with you now. Like the whole time, I'm like, I want to have a session with you.
Yeah. I mean, please do. We need to get together as a whole. This doesn't work if the community doesn't come together because we all share the same patterns. The geometry of us is the same, but our
Right.
expressions aren't. So you may go down the mountain one way and I may go down the mountain the other way, and we got to see different things And when we come back together, we get to share that. Well, those are vibrations. So that's where really healing actually occurs is by community.
All right, I found it.
Yes.
So down here, it's hard with the light, but you can see the vortex, and then above it, you see that being,
Mhm.
and then there's light. I have other photos of it, but yeah,
So
that vortex
to
being,
me, that is not a being. To
or
me, that is your light body. That's what they look like.
so
The
that's
bottom
my
piece
light
is your
body.
pattern.
Okay.
Yeah, here I've drawn it. Uh, if you look at this,
Yes.
yes, this piece here is the piece that you're calling the portal.
Yeah.
It's the patterning. So inside it is Gaussian. It's the system of which you're going to see your experience here projected. Your
Okay.
oversoul sends out all of the colors of you that get expressed. So this is extended version of the sphere. Now, if you were to take a video of that, you might get a different system to look at. You might see something slightly different because what you're seeing is it extended versus it compacted. So if
Right.
it's compacted, it looks like the three.
So, and then here you have that gold color, it looks like that egg at the other
That's
end.
right. That's going to be this piece. So
Okay.
this top oversoul piece,
Yeah.
it's a sphere. And then the next one is a sphere that holds all the structure of you. And then your physical being is a little green spot. It's your heart chakra
Hmm.
that you would see on your screen. Now, if you really, really want to feel good, you put your green sphere in the sunshine and it'll just energize you like you had a wonderful meditation. So easy. Stuff is free. This
Yes.
place is not designed to be the way that we are running it in any way, shape, or form. It's supposed to be abundant and free and everything you need just right there.
So we're headed that way. So what I want to leave people with is the idea of we are now moved into this new earth.
That's right. So when we agree and we do what the Logos did, and we agree to time with what we've already done throughout our experiences without the potential of it not being that way anymore. What we do is we bring everything that's old into this space. But that's not what it is. It's all new.
No.
It's like your body is going to start to awaken whether you want it to or not because the environment is vibrating differently.
No, I've definitely felt different and I've been feeling vibrating and I can tell people around me are feeling something but they don't know what.
Yeah.
And people are getting a little crazy because they don't understand what's going on. So a
Yeah.
lot of stuff is coming up for people to
Yeah.
release. And so
Yeah.
what I say to people, don't suppress it because
Yeah.
it's like walking through, I always say it's like walking through a screen. And so you can't take it all with you. So as you're walking, it's like you have to leave that past behind. So whatever you need to do to release it, let it go because it's not going to serve us in this new earth.
A lot of people don't understand that releasing something isn't a strain. It's about physics.
Mm.
You can literally put your feet in living water
Hmm.
because the water understands itself as you
Hmm.
and simply intend for your energy to move out of your feet. It's super simple. Or you can be really weird like me. And I'm the lady that goes out. I think I stir a stick in the ground, a stick, because I intend for the energy out of my hand to find its way down the stick to my next octave. That's how I move my field. I just stir the stick in the ground and I know that the next octave down is pulling my energy field down. So everything's flowing all of the time. It's free.
Because we
Not
know
that it's certificate.
conventionally, most people know the seven chakras, but we also have chakras below our feet that go into the ground, and then we have
Mhm.
the higher chakras that are above us. So you're actually connecting into the lower chakras that are what we would, a conventional person would say, below the ground, below
You
our
got it.
feet. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So Earth has a negative polarity. I mean,
Yeah.
that's also science, not woo-woo. And that's all you need is to move the vibrations down out of your body down to the
So
next
that's why
vibration.
grounding is so important, getting your feet on the ground.
It's the most important thing you could do.
Yeah.
I mean, because all of your higher vibrations are higher,
Yeah.
right? If you go up in a plane, your ears pop for a reason, right? The vibrations are higher. So as you pull those down through your body, you're constantly intending to move your energy field through. And not only that, but how else is Earth going to remember who she is? She peoples. I mean, trees give fruit, Earth give people, right? She's the Mother Earth, so she needs to remember, and we need to share it with her.
Wow.
My
Such
take.
amazing words of wisdom. Cara, I want to thank you so much. And if people want to reach out to you and have a session with you, how do they go about connecting with you?
Yeah. Booking a session with me is on my website called Resonance Returns. If they are looking for answers, so people that I work with are often seeing things they don't understand. It's not abnormal for someone to come to me that has been in a mental institution or is very enlightened but can't quite get that DNA where they need it to be. It really anybody.
Yeah.
I've dealt with just about anything, but um,
Well, how many people
people
do you have being told their whole lives that they didn't fit in, that they seemed like they were crazy or their family, just didn't feel like,
every day,
yeah,
every single day, there's someone, yeah, and people suffer because of what they're told, and I love telling them something different.
yeah.
So that's a delight. And then Sunday mornings, I do a free service to the public, and that is a coherence session that lasts about an hour. And we pattern match. So I create a field with the collective of people that come and match the shape of water because we all hold that geometric shape. And then I bring in light and move the field. And that's how we share our memories, our vibrations, heal, etc.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to attend one. It's quite beautiful. And you get to see Kara and Noah in action too, to see her communicating with him and see the connection. It was really beautiful. I loved being part of that. And if they want to do that, do they find the link on your website or is that something
Yeah, it's the
else?
same
Okay,
place.
it's the
Resonance
same
Returns,
place.
it's on there.
Okay. So I'll have the links below so that people will be able to sign up and have a session with you and find out more about you and what you do. Again, pleasure and an honor. This was
Thank
really
you. Thanks for
beautiful.
having
Oh
me.
my God, I just love you. Just there's you have such amazing energy. All right.
Thank you.
Until next time.
That sounds good.
All right. Bye-bye.